Hello, Denise here. Welcome to the It's All Good show. Lucas here for a chat. We're here every Monday at noon, and I'm so happy that you found us. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe to my YouTube channel at Denise Belisle, and please make sure you click the little bell in order to get all the notification of when I do a post. Also, if you want to have a chat with me as you find this is very interesting, or if you would like to participate in the show, send me book a call with me, and then we can have a chat. Or if you want more information about what I do the same thing. So the reason why I call this show It's All Good, Lucas here for a chat, is because I have guests every Monday. But the It's All Good part, it's mainly because of my favorite cup. Says it's all good. And that's my way of thinking, my way of living. It's all good means that everything that happened is good, and our job is to find what's good about it. And because things that happened in the past, even if it's 2 minutes ago, you can't change it, so it's all good. And even if it happened 10 years ago, you definitely can't change it, and it's all good. Because if you have a horrific event that happened to you now, oh, all of a sudden, a second later, it's past. So you can't change it. So the job is to look at the event, and I'm giving you clearance to be upset for 2 minutes. But then after that, you, you have to be able to get hold of your emotion and be able to say, okay, it's past. I can't change that. What can I do now in order to move forward with what just happened? I know it's not easy, and that's why I'm here. And I help people to do that, to help them find the gift in the situation they are in, and how to handle those emotions that come at you that you don't know what to do with, and how to stop them. I like to tell people it's like Star Wars. You have like a force field that the emotion comes, you see them come, you say, oh, here's anger coming, and no, I don't want it. I want anger to go away. And then you let anger go away, and then you handle it. You don't just ignore it, but you acknowledge it and you do something with it. And what about the future? We plan to do things in the future, and sometimes things don't work out. I was planning to go to the US last week. I had my ticket in my hand. I walked into the airport, walked to the first counter. When you talk to the agent, and she said, oh, you need proof of vaccination with you. And I said, well, I don't have a proof of vaccination with me. I haven't used a proof of vaccination forever. And she said, sorry, you can't get in. And I was like, you say what? She said, no, we can't get in. And then I had to go home. They would not let me in. So guess what? It's all good. I stayed home and I found other things to do, and I enjoyed myself. I enjoyed a little staycation and did a bit of work. And it's all good. What can I do? I couldn't change it. The time that she said, no, you can't get in, it's the regulation of that airline that says you can't get in. So I couldn't change that. I couldn't change that person's mind. She's following the rules she's been told to do. And it's all good. I look at other solution. I didn't find any, and I stayed here. So even missing a vacation, missing a time away, missing, I got a refund and all that, but that's not the same. But it's all good. I did other things and I enjoyed it. Because once something in the future happened to not work the way you want, now it's the past. So, it's a quick circle. So now enough about me, and let's talk about my guest. My guest is Susie Taylor, and she's a content strategist. And I'm super excited to have her here. She's an amazing woman, and she has so much to share. So let's her in right now. So hello, Susie. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Denise. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate being here.
Oh, you're so welcome. I mean, we've been talking to one another a lot for the last 5 months or so, or something like that. Like we work close in different project, and then I would say, hey, why don't you come to my show? And she said, oh, yeah. So here she is, and I'm so happy that she's here. So Susie, tell us about who you are and how you became a content strategist, and tell us a little bit about your story. The floor is
All
yours.
right. Well, thank you. I live in Ohio in the United States, and I am a mother and a wife and a writer. And I guess that's how I define myself these days, as a writer. My kids are all grown up. I've got one who is looking over me in heaven, and the other two who are living their lives and letting me vicariously live through them, and a wonderful husband who I've will have been married to for 40 years this coming June.
Wow.
And it's been a wonderful, wonderful life. And I get to share my writing, and I get to share my expertise with people all over the world, really, which has been exciting.
Wow, this is amazing. And I think you forgot the pets.
The pets, yes, I've got 3 dogs and 4 cats, and two aquariums full of fish, and it's a never-ending joy of fur and fin
And luckily
here.
you live in a big property so they can roam around, right?
That's right. We live on 40 acres here in Ohio, and it's a wonderful place to be, and I couldn't be happier.
Yeah. Yeah, you wouldn't want to have 5 cats, 3 dogs, and fish in a two-bedroom apartment. You
And
know,
no, no, not at all, not
you
at
need
all.
room for all these animals, but I'm an animal lover. I'm a cat lover, and so we exchange about our pets from time to time. It's
I had someone tell me yesterday that dogs go straight to heaven, but cats go to purgatory. I didn't agree with him, but
it's not a
because I
funny
think
joke.
cats go straight to heaven too. So, but yeah,
Yeah.
anyway.
Talking about cats, here everything goes. You know how Facebook, they give you those stories, right? Like stories from so many years ago you posted. And 6 years ago today, on the 7th of April, on the whoops, on what is it today? The 10th of April, I had my a picture of my cat on his back, and it's like, cats are so happy. And then what happened is he passed away a year and a half ago, and I was like, oh, it's so good to see a picture of him. And so I reposted it, and I say, oh, I missed you every day. But
Yeah,
these
yeah,
fur animals, we love them to death for sure.
right, right. Well, 2 of the cats I have belong to my mother, who lived here with me until she passed away, and so it's wonderful to have these 2 representations of my mom who are. I
Absolutely.
mean, they're here every day, and they cuddle with me, and it's wonderful.
That's great. We all need love, and pets too.
Yeah,
So tell
absolutely.
me, Susie, what is it that you do for people? How did you describe yourself? So let's say you go in a networking event and you say, okay, this is Susie, I do this. So tell people what you do.
All right. Well, the official elevator pitch is I help authors, consultants, coaches, speakers who lack the time, the motivation, and the energy to create their own website content by doing it for them, so that they have the opportunity to give more, have more, do more, and be more.
Nice, nice. And also I want to bring so because the topic of our talk is actually I have it here, and you told me, and I'm looking at my file. It's how to show up for yourself after a
Yeah.
strategy.
That's
Strategy.
okay. Yeah.
And you just said that you had one of your son in heaven. So tell us how you came up with how you've been handling that strategy, and then I know you have ways for people to connect with you just in regard to that. If but explain
Yeah.
your story in that point of view, because I know it's something very dear to you, and you're
Yes.
working into supporting other people also that are in the same situation as you.
Yeah. I'm trying. I'm trying. My oldest son had multiple disabilities. He was blind and was fed through a feeding tube,
Mm.
was basically nonverbal, but he said no perfectly, which every child can figure out how to say. Um, but he required total care. And so he lived for 28 and a half years,
Mhm.
passed away in June of 2021. I was his primary caregiver for the entire time that he was alive. And so after he died, I found myself basically sitting at this exact desk asking myself,
Now what?
yeah, who am I now? What do I do now?
Mm, mhm.
And it was the first time in a long time that I've been able to look at my skills and say, all right, I'm not a mom anymore or a caregiver
Yeah,
anymore.
more than
I'm
like
a
a
writer.
caregiver, because you're still a
Yeah,
mom, but
I'm a writer now.
Yeah.
And it lets me take what I learned from him, and that is being respectful and treating people for the way they treat me, and acknowledging that I'm not like everyone else and I shouldn't be like everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
But he really taught me how to be present, how to be um uh I don't like the word tolerant, but how to be
Acceptance.
accepting.
Yeah.
Yeah, accepting of people all over. He was blind. It didn't matter to him what color your skin was,
Mm-hmm.
whether you
Mm-hmm.
were a man or a woman or what. If you treated him well, he loved you.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't it there were no questions. It was just an automatic thing that if you treated him well, he loved you.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to use that example as the way I live my life now.
Mm-hmm.
That you treat me well, talk to me, treat me as a person, be respectful, and I will love you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's great. That's fantastic. And you have started a sort of a support group for yourself, but
Yeah.
for others too that would like to just to join you in your venture of discovery. So
Yes.
tell us about the Facebook group.
Well, I have a Facebook group called Sticks and Stones. It's loosely based on my blog, which is called Sticks and Stones, and I called it that because the old nursery rhyme says sticks and stones will break my bones, but words will never hurt me. And I'm here to say that that is a lie. That words definitely hurt people, and we
Mhm.
need to be careful how we use our words with each other. And so my Facebook group is just a place, it's really for me, which is very
Yeah,
selfish
yeah.
on my part, but it's just a way to remind people every day that there are good things in this world, and I try to present messages that empower people and that remind people that they are important. And it's really just one post in the morning and one post in the evening, which basically says you are important, and I'm so glad that you're here. And there's not a lot of me being there with my own stuff being
Yeah,
live on this Facebook group. It's just a way to support people and tell people that they are important, and I am so glad that they are alive and that they are here.
that's amazing. And then if they look at Stick and Stones website, then they can find you too.
Yes, absolutely,
Wonderful.
absolutely.
And that's where you have your blog.
Yes, yes,
Awesome. And so when you help people, when I was talking with you before the show, and you were saying that you help people tell their own stories.
yes.
And so how do you get people to get their story out of
Yeah,
their heart? Because I'm
that's hard.
working on a speech right now, and I've been thinking, okay, and I know when you want to communicate with your audience, people connect so much better with you. They'll remember your story, but they won't
Absolutely.
remember your blah 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 A B C
Yeah,
D E, right? And then I was looking at
absolutely.
stories that I can bring in, and I found a couple this morning when I was awake at 5, and just say, okay, let's think about that. I do my best thinking when I wake up in the morning in bed, and I think about stuff and things comes out. So, but how do you get people to actually, beside being with them at 5 a.m. in the morning, to get their story to come out? But how do you help people?
Well, everybody has a story. Everybody has a story. And you can look at your past and you can think about your experiences and you can think, "Oh, this is just so boring. No one's going to want to know about this." But I'm telling you that people want to know. We are hardwired. Humans are hardwired for story. It's part of the wiring in our brains. We want to know stories about people. And
Hmm.
everyone has a story that someone else is going to listen to and say, "Oh man, I could never do that. I could never do that." And and then we are here to tell our stories to say when you have to, you do.
Hmm.
And I think it doesn't matter whether you have a business or you're the director of a nonprofit or whatever. there's a reason why you are there and why you are doing what you do. And
Mhm.
that's your story. That's your story. That's what people want to know. People want to know, why did you go into the catering business?
Mhm.
Because there's a story there. People want to know, why did you open a chocolate shop? Because there's a story.
Mhm.
And once people know your story, they can relate to you. They can accept you. They can empathize with you, and it's something that it creates a relationship with your clients, and that's what your customers are. You've
Yeah.
got to have a relationship with them. It's not just a transaction of, you give me money and I'm going to give you this box of chocolates.
Mhm.
No, it's I have a relationship with you,
Yeah.
and I'm going to help you in your life today because I know that your special someone loves these chocolates.
Mhm. Mhm.
And it's
Because
a
it came
relationship.
because I decided to create this, because and it was
Exactly.
important to me, and I know that can be important to you.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly.
And that's what
Exactly.
you would help people to, put on their website when you do website content,
Mhm.
and get really the information that would come out, and why is that important, and
Mhm.
why do you wanna do that? And
Absolutely.
and yeah, that's super cool, and I'm thinking, of what, my speech going to be about. And then I was like, it's kind of three section. And then I was like, okay, my first, because doing a story for each section, right? That would get
Mhm.
people to remember and all that. And so that's super great. And also, let me see what we talked about here. We said that you told me like about relying on friends, especially friends from far away during
Mhm.
difficult times. So
Mhm.
how were you able to do that?
Um, so many people looked at this time of COVID as a way of isolation. And for me, it opened the world to me. I've been able to meet people all over the world. And when my son died, it was the folks who I connected to here online, the people like Denise, the people like Joe, who I know in Australia, the people
Yeah.
like Daniel, who I know in Australia, the people like Nicole, who I know in Staten Island, who I have never met before, but they were my support people.
Yeah.
They were the ones who came up and said, "We are so sorry. Let us know what we can do."
Mhm.
And when I said, "This is what I need," they followed through and they did it. And I think this whole idea of a global community, to me, thought at first, I thought, "You're just crazy. A global community? What do you mean? I've got neighbors, whatever."
Yeah,
But
yeah,
it's been the global community that has helped me
yeah.
see who I am and how I can contribute to the world. And I can't thank those people enough. They are my best friends.
Yeah, because people that are there when you actually need help,
Mhm.
these are your friends.
Right, right.
Because
Uh,
I'm gonna tell a story right now. Get ready, everyone. I'm telling a story. And for me, I'm a person, I'm super independent. I never ask help from anyone. I'm always like, I can do it. I can do it. No worry. I can do it. I can do it better. I can do it. Don't, no, that's okay. Can I help? No, that's fine. So that's me. Most of the time, it's like, no, I'm good. Um, but in 2018, on Cinco de Mayo, I was in May 5th, I was in Hawaii in the middle of a 2 weeks vacation with a friend of mine. And then we went zip lining, and I was so excited. We packed our lunch and we went and say, okay, let's go. It was like an hour and a half away driving, and or an hour. Now where sometimes you go fast, sometimes you go slow, right? Depending on the small road, and go in the country road and go up the hill and find the place and then wait for our turns to do. And then you see all of a sudden you hear people arriving. It's like, wow, yay, it's so much fun. And we were aiming for anticipation, having a great time. And then it comes our time. They put us in the harness, and then they take us in the woods. Just about, 50 meters away, and then they have a low cable, and it's okay. These are the different ways to hold yourself on the cable when you zip line. I never zip line before, and I'm a little bit afraid of height. So they show us different ways and all that, and it's okay. Now let's do your first zip, which is just from this platform to that platform, and then after that we'll go back down. Then we'll go up the large staircase and go into the big zip line. And so I was like, oh my God, I'm so excited, but I'm scared. So, so I went last because I was like, no, you can go. No, you can go. Very kindly let other people go first. And so everybody goes into the little platform that's there. I think there was 6 of us. And then come my turn, the guy hold the cable, and then so that my pulley and then the cable, and then he said, okay, are you ready? And me being scared, I was about, it's hard to show, but I was about probably at least 3 feet away from the edge of the platform, because I didn't want to look down, right? I was like, okay, I'm okay. And but what I didn't realize is, where I say, okay, just gonna sit and go like a swing, right? But what I didn't realize is when I sit, the cable sagged, and then he let go, and then my foot got stuck underneath my ass, and I broke my
Oh
ankle.
no. Oh no.
At that time, I thought it was just twist, but I broke my ankle, and the
Oh,
15-second zip, I screamed my head off. I look at my ankle that went from, it
oh
became
no.
like a baseball,
Oh,
and then I was almost fainting, in that zip line. And then I got on the other platform. They had to help me up because I was on one foot. The other one was like, "Oh my God, I hurt so much." And then I sat down. He said, "Sit down." He said, "I don't want you to fall off the platform." He said, "Sit down." And there was no stairs on that platform because it was just a tryout one. And then you had to zip down to the ground and then go up. And then I said, "That hurt so much. That hurt so much." And then he said, "Well, you have to come down." I said, "Oh my God, I don't know how I can do that." And then I was scared too. And then I went backward, right? So this way I just pushed myself. And then one guy was on the floor afterwards, and then he held me. And then they called the girl at the counter. And luckily it was the first zip. So it was very close to the main office. She
yeah.
came pick me
Yeah.
up. And then my friend went to do the zip line thing. And then I stayed there with ice on my leg, elevated with ice on it. And insurance company don't listen. But then I drove myself to the hospital with my right foot, but I drove with the left foot anyway. It was very convoluted. And in the end, they did X-ray and it was broken. But it was just like, oh my God. So that's a story. And but then I don't know why I told that story. But the thing is, now I know that I can use that story, and whenever people I talk about, and then there'll be a conclusion to why I told that story. But then I know now that when I tell that story, people will remember me as the girl that did ziplining and broke her ankle, and they might
Mhm.
remember the message I give after that
Mhm.
too, right?
But think about your own self too, the what you got out of that.
Hmm.
That
Hmm.
not only is that a story that will impact other people, it
Oh yeah, I know where
continues
I
to
was getting at.
impact
Asking for
you
help.
inside your
That's what I
head.
was getting
Yeah.
at. Asking for help because I said nobody asked for
Yeah.
help. But then I live on a fourth-story building with stairs, so 3 sets of stairs to go up. I was terrified to go home. I didn't wanna go home
Oh
because
man.
I had to climb those stairs, right? I was like, "I can't do it. I can't even go down one from the road to the sidewalk," right? I was like, "Oh my God." And so while I was in Hawaii for the next week, lay in bed because I couldn't do anything else, just really sore. I contacted all my friends through emails and Facebook or whatever. And then I said, "You know what? I'm not one to ask for help, but I need your help. I need your help. I'm terrified. I need a ride to go home. I need somebody to lift my suitcase back home. I need someone to take me to doctor. I need someone to all of that." And you know what? People showed up.
Yeah.
And I was just in tears of the support and all that for at least a month. After a month I was more, because it was a really bad break, but not only the break, but I had all the ligament and the was torn. So I had broken
Mm.
ankle plus torn ligament and tendon and all of
Mhm.
that. And for about a month, for 3 months I didn't walk on it. Doctor didn't want me to walk on it. But then people were there. They were there to help me go do groceries. They were there to pick my garbage out. They were there to bring the cat litter back up and bring my grocery back
Mhm.
up, putting the garbage down, like all of that. People were there bringing me
Yes.
food, you know? So when you ask for help, all that to say in strategy, when you have a strategy, just ask for help.
Mhm.
Don't be afraid, and people will be there to
Absolutely.
support you.
Absolutely. And you've got to accept it. You have to, I mean, we're so used to saying, "Oh no, I can do it. I can do it. I don't need your help." But first of all, you do need the help. And secondly, you need to give your friends the satisfaction of standing up for you
Hmm.
and give them that gift of
Yeah.
being able to help you. Um, uh, that's just that's just something that we as humans, we want to be there for each other.
Yeah.
And if I say no, I don't need your help, well, then I'm taking that opportunity away from whoever wants to
Hmm.
give me that
Hmm.
help. So yeah, that's awesome. That's
So that
awesome.
was the moral
That's
of
a
my story, is that I
Yeah,
asked
that's
for help and I got it.
awesome.
And I was very humbled by it.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah, yeah. So yes, asking for help, I think it's awesome. And when you talk about the global community, and I agree with you. I mean, the last 3 years, I've met you, right? I've met hundreds of people,
Hmm.
that I can call friends now, that I didn't know 3 years ago, that I had no idea they existed. And
Yeah.
because of that internet and increasing the number of online meetings, which became international. I met people from, as you said, right, from Australia, from South Africa, from England, from France, from, all across the United States. I met so many people that now I
Hmm.
can call friends, and it's amazing. I love the idea of
Yeah.
global community, global support. Even if
Hmm.
people can't walk into your home and cook you a meal, the emotional support is
Yeah.
absolutely
Yeah.
amazing.
And that doesn't discount the isolation that many people felt, because that was just horrible. And it doesn't discount the sadness that people experienced by being isolated. But for me personally, it opened up the world, and that's something that I will always be grateful for. I will always be cognizant and aware that it was a difficult time for many, many people, me included. I
Mhm.
mean, I had my son. My son was here, could not go to his day program,
Yeah,
um, and so I understand that isolation, and I understand how difficult that time was. But I'm just speaking for myself. For
of course,
me,
of course.
that time opened up the world to me.
Yeah,
And not that I'm grateful for COVID, but I'm grateful for the technology and the time that I had that gave me the opportunity to meet so many people.
yeah, and that goes with what I said, at the beginning,
It's all
is
good.
because now COVID is here, we're locked down, so now it's part of the past. I mean, it's our present, but
Yeah.
there's nothing we can do about it until they tell us you can open your doors, right?
Hmm.
So now it's all good, and what's the gift in that, and what can I get the most out of it? And it's the same for every single situation, people. You got
Hmm.
to remember that life is just a series of tests that we're going through,
Hmm.
and that it's up to us to find the greatness in those days that we
Hmm.
feel like it's horrible,
Yeah.
and and to live to the best of our possibilities,
Hmm.
because all we can do is live today for today.
Hmm.
That's the only time that
Yeah.
counts, is right now, right?
Exactly. And taking the attitude that life doesn't happen to us, it happens for us.
Yes.
And I will even take it a step farther and say life and death happens for us.
Hmm.
Because as much as I miss my son, as much as I wish he was still here, as much as I am so sad that he is not here on earth with me anymore, there is a freedom that I have experienced for the first time in 30 years,
Yeah.
that I am so grateful for. And and I acknowledge that he gave me that opportunity.
Hmm. Hmm.
And And so life and death happens for us, not
Mm-hmm,
to us.
mm-hmm. That's fantastic. And how has all of that helped you in your business?
Oh my gosh. We tend to think that our day-to-day activities are live or die, life or death, breathe or don't breathe. And having experienced the, I guess what I would call the worst thing that any parent could experience,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I understand that even though I do everything I can to meet a deadline, missing a deadline by a day is not the end of the world.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I anticipated I would have this project to you by this day at this time. I'm sorry it didn't happen. That's not the end of the world.
Mm-hmm.
And also the trouble when I go to sleep at night, I don't think about, oh, I didn't get this done. I didn't get this done. I didn't get this done. What I think about is I know that my one son is here and he's safe. And my other son is here and he's safe. And my husband is here next to me and he's safe. That's what matters. That's what
Mm-hmm.
matters. My
Yeah.
business is extremely important to me and I love what I do. But at the end of the day, knowing that my family is safe,
Yeah.
that's the most important thing.
Absolutely. I agree with you. I mean, this materialistic things, right? Like business is a
Yeah,
materialistic thing. It's
absolutely.
like that's not what's the most important, and that's what I deal with sometimes with my clients, right? They lose the vision of their own life and
Hmm.
how important their life as a human being is,
Hmm.
because they're so concentrated and so focused on being hyperachiever and reaching the next level, and
Yeah.
they lose sleep, they lose food, meaning that they don't eat properly and they don't eat all the meals they should be eating, and they end up eating too fast or the bad food, and then they're all stressed out and they wonder why they're getting sick. And
Yeah.
it's like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, let me do a reality check here with you, and let's look at what's happening in your life.
Hmm. Yeah.
And
Like
when you
I,
become aware of that, change.
yeah, I have deadlines every day. But when my youngest son comes in here into the office and sits down and says, "Can I talk to you about my day?" The deadlines go out the window.
Hmm.
Yes. Let me turn this off. Let me turn the computer
Yeah,
off and
yeah,
get the earphones out of my ears. Yes, tell me about your day. Tell
yeah,
me. That's the most important thing.
yeah, yeah. That's awesome. And I uh, like, I look at, you're not the only one that I know that has taken care of their kids that have disabilities, and in different levels. Like, I have a cousin, her daughter, she's in a wheelchair and she doesn't really talk, and but
Mhm,
she does dances with her. She go to dance class, they go to swimming class,
mhm.
they do all these activities, and singing, however she sings,
Yeah.
and for my cousin, I mean, it's her daughter is her life, right? I mean, just
Mhm,
like your son was your life, and
mhm.
and it's and it's the greatest gift, even though for other people might say, oh, what a burden, but then they're not in your shoes. They didn't
Right. Right.
experience the path. They didn't walk the your walk. They didn't walk in your shoes a
Yeah.
thousand
Yeah.
miles, right? Like, they
Right.
they don't know the gift that you get out of your son. They don't know
Mhm,
the gift that he brought to you as a human being,
mhm.
being so loving and caring for you as a caregiver, as a mom, as human being. And as you said, like, if you're kind to him, if you talk nicely to him, he will love you and he will show
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
And I
And
think
I'm
that's
not
precious.
saying it was always rainbows and
Of
unicorns.
course, of course,
No.
there's ups and
But
downs.
I would give anything. I mean, when he died, he was 28 and a half years old. I would give anything to change a 28-year-old man's diapers again.
Mhm. Mhm.
I would give anything to be able to
Mhm.
change a 28-year-old man's diapers again.
Yeah.
And I can remember changing his diapers thinking, this is gross, this is disgusting, I don't want to do this. Today,
Yeah.
if I had that opportunity to do it
Yeah.
again, in a heartbeat, in a
Yeah. For
heartbeat.
sure. For sure. For sure. Because it's that's what I call unconditional love. Unconditional love. I mean, it's pure love. When you are in that
Mhm.
situation, and it's so precious.
Yeah.
And also, as you said, like it's a two side of the story. Like now, the freedom that you have, which you didn't have before,
Mhm.
but you would get him back anytime, right? And I understand that
Oh,
too,
oh
right?
yeah.
I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
it's just
And
when you have that feeling, that attachment,
mhm.
you know?
And I have a belief, my faith belief is that he is in heaven and I will be reunited with him at someday. And I can imagine myself when I die getting to the pearly gates of whatever you want to call it, and talking with my Lord, my God, and seeing this tall red-headed man behind him saying, Mom, look, it's me. And I just can't wait for that day. I
Yeah,
can't wait for that day.
yeah, absolutely. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Tears.
I didn't mean to make you cry. I'm sorry.
It's okay. So, any last statement? That was amazing. I don't think I will ask you for any last statement. I think that was the summum of our conversation. And the thing is, what I found is people are taking people for granted, right? And when we do that, we don't get to experience the full unconditional love we could have for the people.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if anything,
Absolutely.
this lesson that you taught is to stop being so selfish, you know and love for
Well,
no reason. Love to
yeah,
love, not because
yeah,
somebody will love you back, but love
yeah.
because you give your heart out, and you're being kind,
Mhm,
and let people love you back.
mhm. I also believe that what you give out comes back to you.
Hmm. Yeah.
And um and too many people want to separate their personal lives from their business life. There's no way that I can do that.
Hmm.
There's no way. Um and I told someone today, everything goes back to him and my boys. Everything goes back to my family.
Yeah.
Why do I do what I'm doing? Because I want to make them proud. Why am I editing and trying to help other people? Because I want to give that same, the same unconditional love that Evan showed me to other people. He's my
Yeah.
example. He's my example.
Yeah.
And he's here with me all the time. I carry his ashes with me everywhere I go.
Awesome.
Yeah. And so he's always here. He's always next to my heart. And um, all three of my boys are always right here. And that's how I try to treat my clients. That's how I try to treat the authors I work with, the coaches I work with. Um, and there's no way to separate personal from business.
Yeah.
That's just
Yeah.
the way I
Well, I
do
mean,
things.
you're a heart-centered woman, so you cannot be a
Yeah.
straight arrow, and it's like, that's just the way it is. You told me you were going to give me your material by Friday. Why aren't you give it
Yeah.
to me? You're fired. I don't want to work with you anymore. And it's
Yeah.
like, that's not the way it works in my world.
Well, I try to meet deadlines. I really
Yeah,
do.
of
That's
course,
the
but
goal is to meet deadlines. But
yeah, of course,
sometimes
I
it just
understand.
doesn't
Life
happen.
happens,
So
right?
yeah, yeah,
So
absolutely.
So you gotta people can reach you. Let's see how people can reach you. They can send you an email, right?
Hmm.
At susie.taylor.writer@outlook.com.
Hmm.
And you also have a gift, and people have to send you that email at the same place, but it's a
Yes.
website checklist audit, trip like a checklist, and you'll see about the health and of your website. And
Yeah.
she's going to send you a checklist. So send her an email and say, hey, Susie, I saw you at Denise's. Look at you for a chat. And I would love to have that checklist. And also, if you want to hire her, don't be shy. Say, hey, I'd love for you after I do that audit that that I hire you, because she's for hire, just like all of us. And so you can be in touch with her. And again, for the Facebook group, if you want to have motivational daily post, you can go and check that out on our Facebook group. And the website is the same, like it's Sticks and Stones, right?
Right.
Perfect. So thank you so much, Susie. It was such a pleasure to get to know you even more, and to really have this 40 minutes with you. And you brought tears to my eyes, and I love you. And I'm glad I know you. So,
Thank
and
you.
people reach out. She's amazing. So just stay there. I'll be right back with you, Susie. Thank you so much for being here all the way to the end, and to listening to Susie's story, to my story. And take her on her offers. Ask her for the audit for the website and the checklist, and then you can see where your website's at, and where you can improve. And as you see, she's a good-hearted woman, and she will help you if you need help afterwards. So again, I encourage you to subscribe to my YouTube channel to see all my other videos, and to be able to see other amazing people that I have interviewed over the last year and a half. And it's coming close to 2 years now. And I'm so excited to always have amazing gift. And again, if you want to book a call with me, talk with Denise at tiny.cc/talk with Denise, and book a call with me. I have my calendars open, and there's always a little bit of space in there for you. And if you see there's no room, which is rare, but you can wait a week, and then more space will open. So until next time, be kind to one another, and I will talk to you soon. Bye bye. See you next week.